She almost game-ended someone on stream by Charlie penguinz0.
There's a Kick streamer whose name I've treated like Voldemort over the last year or so. I've never bothered talking about her because that's the only thing she cares about is her name leaving people's lips, no matter how negative it is. She exists for one sole purpose, to make everyone around her angry at her. It's in her delusional mind, the brain parasites tell her that that's a good thing. So I've just never bothered insulting her or making fun of her because that's like having sex with a cuck's wife. It's exactly what they want. But today she did something particularly heinous.
Right?
No.
No. All right. You know why I wasn't going to? Because my feet were getting
You should just jump in right now.
But I'm gonna jump in with my shoes on.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah. Ready? Oh! Wait, what the fuck?
I love how she's somehow surprised that the lady jumped in after she spent the better part of 15 minutes trying to convince her to jump in, and
I think that comes down to, actually, this is really interesting. The moment someone is faced with consequences, it's such a game changer, right? I have a buddy that works in asset protection, right? And he works alongside guards to make stops and stuff like that. And people will cuss him out. People will threaten physical violence. People have, one of them even had a switchblade in their purse, right? And they'll get angry up until the point that they say that they've called the cops, and then they'll stop. And they start getting remorseful. And it's just this weird, interesting societal thing that I've noticed, that people will get loud. People will get angry. People will get frustrated. People will say they'll sue you. People will say that, you're defaming them. People will say any number of things. But the moment you say, that's cool, let's just get the police involved. Not a non-emergency thing. But I mean, like, for example, if this dog situation, which has escalated from neighbor, right, to the point of we're thinking, police have been thought of being called, not 911, but this dog is getting out on a consistent basis. And it's been very contradictory for me to think about this because it is someone who is ex-military. And this is a months-long thing of they just keep letting their dog get out. This dog gets in people's faces. It is becoming a hazard, especially as someone who owns cats, who owns a dog. I don't need this dog attacking me or anyone else, right? And so cops have been, at this point, looking at calling them potentially. And it's just one of those situations. You are changing the game at that point. As soon as accountability gets mentioned, people will do anything all day. Her doing that is not outside of that realm of possibility because now she's going to face consequences, or now she's looking like, oh crap, situation has changed. It is suddenly real. I mean, I feel like I complain about a lot of stuff. I feel, at least though, I'm genuine and like I'm pretty consistent with things, and I'm careful to watch my wording on a lot of things, if that makes sense. I don't go up in someone's face being like, come at me, bro, and not expect a punch to the face, right? I think that's incredibly reasonable. If this dog person, right, I say I was going to call the ATF on, their dog, right, or the address, dude's going to punch me in the face. He's ex-military. He's going to understand that that's not something you say. He's going to also understand that while he's causing disturbances over the past few months, it is disrespectful to the military. Dude's going to lay me out, right? That's a consequence of my actions. So this is just super interesting to think about for not only my experiences, but noting it as well. And I encourage in the comment section, have you noticed the same thing where people will get loud, they'll get up in arms, they'll do everything. But the moment something changes, police get called, letters get written, etc. It is a certified FAFO moment. And then they realize, oh crap. It's just interesting to notice. I know we've really derailed this, but it's something that I've noticed, but no one's really talked about until Charlie has here.
even tried to bribe her with $20 to do so, and now all of a sudden she's fucking soy-facing, shocked that the lady actually did it. So I went back and I watched most of the stream, which was, I wouldn't wish that upon my worst enemy. Now, she's gone viral in the past for other degenerate activity, such as wearing painted-on pants at a gym, or
Don't do that.
doing a kidnapping children prank and faking a...
Okay, if that's the case, authorities need to get involved. And I absolutely abhor that public personalities, YouTubers, Twitch streamers, influencers, celebrities, they get to get away with stuff like this. If I'm going to go to a gym and I'm going to wear just painted-on pants, 1, I expect to get kicked out. 2, I expect someone's dad to lay me the F out. 3, I expect the cops to be there and to be put on a funny little list that I need to tell all my neighbors that I'm a part of, right? Don't do that. That's indecent public exposure, regardless of that. Sure, you can have videos in certain media, right? Wink, wink, with that being the focus. But that's the focus, and generally everyone is an adult there. Do not ever do that in the presence of children. You are going to just get ridiculed off the internet, and rightly so. Stay away from children. Do not ever fake a kidnapping, because there's people that aren't going to take that. Can you imagine if somebody did it, right, a streamer, right, did a prank. Imagine if there's someone ex-military there that thinks a child is getting kidnapped. That person's going down real quick, right? Or there's a parent around that doesn't understand that it's a joke, right? How are we glorifying this? And that's the thing, is like, I'm negative on these topics because we need to have these conversations. We're not having these conversations, and this stuff is still seeing traffic. It's unacceptable. You call police. This stuff needs to stop. It's wild.
Ton of shit around all of her other work to try and cause as much controversy as possible to farm clout off of it. But this one is a little bit different. So the lady she had jump in is someone who apparently cannot swim. She said that she can only float and can't swim. And I initially thought that this was just more staged, phony baloney, garbage. But from a couple of the articles I read, they're reporting that the fire department in the area really did pull a woman out of that lake on this day. So it does seem like it's real.
Yeah, do you want to have a play date?
You want to jump in with me?
Yeah.
Okay, then I'll do it with you.
I'd rather go skinny dipping with you if I'm being honest.
Yeah, let's do it.
Really?
Don't do that. Don't do that. That is very uncomfortable. Can you imagine, dear viewer, dear chatter, right? Right. Say Kip and all his dingusry comes out, and I say something along the lines of, "Oh, I don't want to go skinny dipping with you." How weird that is. I understand that's trying to be a joke. That's wrong, dude. Like, there's a level of just comfortability, if that makes sense. Like, it's why if somebody's like, "Oh, I have a sword. I want to fight you. I want to duel you." Cool. I mean, what do you practice with a group? Oh no, I just own it. Do you have any armor or protective gear? No. Like, it's not going to be safe. Like, don't do it. I have armor. I have protection. I have a vague understanding of what I'm doing from all the SCA groups I've gone to, right? But that's not fair to put you in. That's also a really weird ask. And if we want to go with, whole freedom of speech, freedom of expression, that's fine. She can ask that. The other party retains the right to express themselves if they want to like it or not like it or remain neutral, right? It's almost like there's a back and forth when it comes to conversations and stuff like this. If someone asks me that out of the blue, more often than not, I'm walking away. Regardless of what they identify as, who they are, how big they are, that's not something you ask somebody just out of the blue. Unless there's history here that I'm not understanding, this to me is already throwing up red flags.
Yeah.
About this person.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I'll do
Chad,
it.
they're all saying you're sexy and shit.
Really?
Yeah, they're all saying W woman, she's thick as fuck. You should jump in the water to find it for me.
Well, why don't you jump in with me?
I'll give you $20.
$20?
Yeah, that's a W.
No, come
That's
on,
a good deal.
jump in with me.
$20.
Hot.
Yeah, so you go
No,
in.
you gotta go in.
You
with
go
me.
in. You try to find the
You
scanner.
said you're gonna jump in with me.
I'll jump in after you.
We're jumping together.
The Kick streamer is on a scavenger hunt trying to locate the final Dragon Ball so she can finally make a wish to be something other than the failure that she is.
Yeah.
And she encounters this woman who's on the dock. And she tries to convince that woman to jump in the water to look for the tracker that she's trying to hunt. So she's putting on a fucking Shark Tank pitch here, saying that she'll give the lady $20 to jump in and that, she'll follow once she jumps in, this and that, and then basically he's just trying to farm her for content so that way the stream can laugh at this lady jumping in the water when the streamer never had any plans of doing.
So here's the thing, though. We're talking about this. She's getting engagement from this, right? This is the double-edged sword about talking like stuff like this, and I'm not throwing shade at Charlie by any means on this. When you talk about a situation like this, or if I were to say, I don't want to talk about this person, right? I am still giving them metrics. I am still giving them engagement. Engagement is good, bad, neutral, right? Anything, right? You can hate watch, say, a Logan Paul video, right? I can say something about Logan Paul's Crypto Zoo. And you know what that does? Oh, hey, You might like this Logan Paul Crypto Zoo video. You might like this Logan Paul video, right? There's certain things like that the algorithm can't pick up on, or other things can pick up on and give them engagement. Or if something were to come out, say about, I don't know, what is it, the Jake Paul, Mike Tyson fight, right? And you talk about it, it's just going, engagement is so weird because regardless of what it is, if you hate watch something, if you like watch something, if you're tangentially watching something, right, it will still have engagement, and then that engagement boosts it in the algorithm. So talking about this, yes, I think that this is absolutely a valid call out. We as streamers, as influencers, I hate that word, public personalities, right, we need to be doing better. That's not me saying that I'm going to put, people on this pedestal. I think that's wrong. There's people that put me on a pedestal, and I have no idea why. Like, I'm not this perfect being. I've said so a number of times. Like, we need to be doing better. The Logan Pauls of the world, the Pokemans of the world, VTubers, right? Whatever, right? You just, cool, be a person. However, unfortunately, controversy sells a lot of the time. This is why personalities like Andrew Tate and Sneeko in part get big. Obviously, there's other issues in regards to that. Why this person gets big. Any publicity is good publicity. I vehemently disagree with that. But then again, they're a big kick streamer, and I'm me. So, I don't know. I have a certain degree of ethics in what I try to do. And, sometimes I lose my patience. Sometimes like this, where I talk about things like this that need to be talked about. But at the end of the day, from an objective perspective, I am still part of the problem because I am still discussing it, and this is going to give her traction. So, things to consider.
So, and their interaction lasts like 10-ish minutes before the lady jumps in the water, and it seems as though she's quite vulnerable. So it's extremely fucking sad to see her being exploited by this kick degenerate here, and put into a position that's life-threatening, because allegedly she can't swim, which is why the fire department eventually got called, which you do see on stream a bit later.
Did you see her ass? What? Oh,
You said it was okay.
You said you wanted to swim.
You told me to jump in.
I didn't tell you to jump in.
Yes,
Yeah, you did.
did.
Just,
You said
Oh, now we're just lying.
Have you guys get off the stop.
Wait, who is that?
She needs to go.
The fuck is going on?
Man, her 30s are gonna rock her. Like, I don't know why my brain is saying that. She's gonna have issues by the time she's 30. If she continues on this path, like, I don't know. There's just something about this. All of her like mannerisms and what she's doing, 30 is gonna hit her like a freight train.
I can't swim. I can only float.
Oh, she might literally die.
No, stop. Seriously, don't stop. Please, you're actually freaking me out.
No, don't. Why are you responding this way? You knew the consequences of your actions. Let's think critically here, right? Don't pull this. I didn't know. Stop. Like, I don't want to talk about this. It's frustrating. You are part of this situation, at least in part. Yes, you could argue, yeah, she jumped of her own volition, right? But you encouraged this. You should feel bad. Take accountability for your actions, right? Dude, like, what is happening in the world nowadays? Well, I mean, I guess this has always been around. I open up older generations, 60s, 70s, 80s, right? Did we have people like this? I guarantee you we did. How did you deal with them back in the day? Let's have a constructive discussion about this, right? How do you deal with a personality like this, especially when you know they're just going to keep doing this? This is not okay. This is wrong. And I do applaud Moistcritikal for calling this out. I think this is an absolutely valid call out, and I think people should be angry. But we all know that internet outrage is about 2 weeks at most, so in 2 weeks, no one's going to remember this. And until that changes, people like this are going to be able to go, I'm sorry, I didn't know, I don't want to talk about this. It's just very frustrating, and nothing will ever come of it. So, we either talk about stuff, or we do something about stuff. This isn't a call to arms, this isn't a call to action. This is how we move through things like this. How we move things for, say, YouTube personnel doxing other YouTube personnel and suffering almost zero consequences. This is how we move past people not showcasing that they were paid in Bitcoin, etc., crypto, to promote a crypto thing that they knew was a rug pull, right? This is how we move on. We can talk about this, but how do we hold you accountable? How do, as an individual, hold them accountable? How do you hold someone accountable, right? If someone says something that I don't agree with, I can just stop watching them. If I say something that you don't agree with, you can absolutely stop watching me. If I say something you consider as an L take, yes, you can leave that little negative dislike button, but even then, that technically still counts engagement. One of the best things you can do is just ignore the situation. But then again, it also comes into the whole, like, if you start ignoring everything, what do you have left, right? If you hold everyone to X standard, but almost no one meets X standard, isn't that more of a you problem? This is, as it turns out, a very complex societal issue showcased here. This is how we've gotten to this point. Fixing it is going to be an absolute monumental task.
Oh, please.
You can really see the concern wash over each of their smiling faces as they're confronted with the very real possibility that that woman might drown and die because of the streamer's actions. I really wish this streamer had stuck with her OnlyFans as opposed to trying to pivot her career into just being an absolute insufferable piece of shit. I know her OnlyFans was flopping harder than Morbius, but by God, I mean, it might save lives if she had just stuck with it. The butterfly effect you can never fully comprehend until it's too late. So anyway, the woman that...
Body type, not something I'd pay for personally. I would not see the appeal. This also might actually inflate her OnlyFans numbers, which is unfortunate.
That she has prodded into jumping in the water is now saying that she can't swim, and they're laughing about it because... She might die, and to them that's hilarious. They can't stop giggling like someone's over there tickling their armpits. It's craziness. Like, the dude comes over and he's like, she might die. Fucking the camera goober over here is so excited. Like, he's like zooming in, trying to get like the last moments of like the air that she'll get from the surface before she goes under, praying that maybe this is the moment that he's able to bond close enough to the streamer where she might give him a peck on the cheek and thank him for his service. Like, she is surrounded by these henchmen that orbit her, just swarm her like mosquitoes on a pile of dog shit. And this is something that was prevalent throughout the entire stream. They're literally just there to try and have sex with her, is what it seems like.
Dude, it feels like I'm watching this just like sick burn at like 1.5x speed. It's like he's rap battling somebody with just all this it's so good. I'm loving this. This is perfect.
No one enjoys being around her. They don't like her company, from what I can tell.
Yeah, we have like phones and stuff, so that would friggin' suck.
Would you be able to hold this for 1 minute? No. Is it because you're afraid of getting called a simp?
Yeah, 'cause I don't like it.
They're saying you're alpha male. You're not a simp. Not. Yes, they are. They're saying
Absolutely,
alpha. Everybody's spamming alpha male.
Okay.
Sorry to say, brother, but I've got to diagnose you with a very severe case of simp. You might not like it, but it's a tough pill to swallow. That is literally what you are. Textbook definition. All of the insects that are around her fall into that category. When I went through and watched the stream, all of them seemed like perpetually annoyed by her, but were trying their best to hide it. And they're used as punching bags by her and her community to laugh at them and insult them. Like, how?
I don't get this. Like, imagine if I were to do the same thing with my mod team, right? My mod team for my Discord, for everything that I do, right? They have every right to leave. And I've told them a number of times, like, look, you're here because, you know, I like what you do. I feel comfortable with you being, you know, on the mod team. You know, anything that you say should be treated as if it's an extension of me, right? But at the end of the day, if they feel like they're being mistreated, if they feel like they don't want to do this anymore, or what, you know, what's happened? Like, hey, I had some life stuff come up. If you need to remove me, no, I don't want to remove you, right? You're fine. As it turns out, I know what it's like to have a life, despite me really not having one, right? Stuff comes up. This is not your job. This is something that I trust you to do if you have time and effort to do it. If not, I'll take care of it myself, right? The fact that she's treating her staff, her quote-unquote mod team, this badly, it's one of those things, like, imagine if I went on a date, right? And the person was an absolute just unruly POS towards the wait staff, right? Towards waiters, waitresses, right? I don't want to date them. What is that? Or if animals don't feel comfortable around her, I don't want to be around that. And that's fair for me, and that's also fair of her if she just wants to, you know, be rude to people and be mean and be a POS. This is, you know, my situation specifically, but obviously apply your situation as necessary, right? It's okay to call people out. It's okay to call them a POS. You're allowed to, especially if they're doing things like this that are just generally not okay.
Like, it's so pathetic. It's not just her that's pathetic. It's the people that surround her too.
No, bitch, she's floating.
Drowning.
I'm gonna fucking kill myself. She says she's drowning.
Oh, this is bad.
Sorry, I didn't know.
We've gone too
This is
far.
bad.
Invaluable
culture's out of
assistance
control.
provided by her and her team of dweebs. They just read chat messages and laughed at it, which obviously is helping her get to safety. She's out there drowning, but luckily all of the chat messages that the streamer and her team were reading were helping lift her to the surface and carry her to shore. They just fucking left. They recognized what was going on. They recognized the very real possibility that this woman might die, and they just said, all right, I'm out ski.
I wonder if this would violate not Twitch, excuse me. I apologize. Kick policy. I wonder if this would violate TOS. I know Kick's kind of a wild wasteland, right? Didn't we have someone just like streaming the entire Super Bowl over on Kick without a license? Like that's why we have Super Bowl channels and stuff. People have to pay for those rights, but someone was just streaming it over on Kick. We had wasn't somebody watching like the entire like Batman Dark Knight trilogy over on Twitch and or not Twitch, Kick. Shows how like much brain space Kick takes up for me, right? I wonder if this violates policies, and then I wonder if Kick would step in. I don't think they would, but I don't know. I don't know what the landscape over there is.
Time to bounce. We're gonna scram now. Good luck. And they just leave her there. That's fucking insanity.
It's awful.
And they laugh about it because people like her don't treat the other human beings around them as if they're real people. To her, everyone else is just an NPC, a prop that she can use for content and nothing else. That's the extent of their presence in her world. And once they've outlived their usefulness, she doesn't care about them, which is why she clearly doesn't give a fuck that that woman might drown out there, because she doesn't even view them as a person. That was just a piece of content for her, so she has no qualms about just leaving.
She says she's drowning. She says she's drowning.
I think you literally just murdered a lady.
No, I didn't. I swear.
I think you
No,
literally.
I didn't.
She's not even like that's just sheer acting. Like her tone and her facial expression, that's just acting. She feels no remorse for this. That's wild to me. Like there is evil in this world. I've done more research than I should have and watched many more crime podcasts than I should have. Right? There's evil in this world. This is stupidity and malicious ignorance, I will say, but still definitely on the stupid and evil side of that spectrum.
Let's go. There, she's drowning in the lake.
God, there's a fire truck. Nah, this is bad.
Like I said, I was initially skeptical when I saw this clip blowing up on Twitter because she has a history of faking shit. So I thought this might be another scripted thing
a
just to get
ruse.
some like rage clicks to her stream, which I always think is a dumb fucking business decision. But when I went back and watched all of this happen as it unfolded on the stream, this does seem very real, because that fire truck does show up at like a very quick time from the second that she gets in the water and other people are, you know, catching on to what just happened to them telling the streamer and her friends to leave. The fire truck pulls up only a matter of minutes later, so I'm guessing they must have called 911. They sent out the emergency response team to save this lady who can't swim. So it all does seem real. This doesn't seem like it's all just a bunch of fucking smoke and mirrors here as some kind of, you know, ingenious supervillain play from this Kick streamer to try and get a couple extra viewers. She is just a piece of shit. She actually would have killed that woman if there weren't others around to call 911.
Wouldn't that be manslaughter as a charge? What is it? It's negligence. I have to look up the exact definition, but like, if you negligently game in somebody, isn't that like there's actual like legal precedent we have for situations like that? And like, I'm glad the lady's okay, right? Let's talk about that, right? The point of this is that this could have happened. This didn't happen. We shouldn't wish that that lady didn't float, right? I'm glad that she's okay. This could have been so much worse if she didn't. And honestly, if this is most of the stuff I hear from Kick at this point, whenever I watch something by Charlie, whenever I watch anything, right, about and hear news about, like you mentioned, Aiden Ross in the Super Bowl, activities over there, but I think Johnny Somali's on Kick, right? Kick is not doing a good job of trying to sell me on their platform. Like, it seems like they have a problem with creators that they just seemingly refuse to address. Like, I'd love to have a discussion, you know, with personnel over there. I'd love to, I mean, I'm small enough, right, that it's never going to happen. But I mean, I'd love to have a discussion. Just be like, look, I mean, what's your platform doing, right? Like, how is this repeated just things that you deal with? Why do you have personalities on your site that you don't deal with? Anybody can pop open their phone. Here, let's pop up my phone right now, right? I'm going to go over to here, open Twitch, and I have a go live button right here. Or I can check my stream from my phone. It takes next to no effort for me to start streaming on YouTube, start streaming on Twitch. Like, anybody can do it. So why are you enabling these people by continuing to do this? It is not selling me on their platform. And if anything, is making me very apprehensive when people try inviting me to kick and stuff. Or not kick. That too. Try inviting me over, to this. Like, it doesn't add up to me, Captain. It really doesn't.
That's unfathomable to me.
Yeah,
not only did she not do anything to help, but the dudes that are with her did nothing to help. All they did was laugh at the situation.
Yeah.
Where someone's life was actually in danger. That's so fucked up.
I did not know she was mentally ill. I thought she was just trying to have fun. I thought she was drunk or something. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Ah, yes. Let us poke fun at mentally ill people. Ah, yes. That's always a smart thing to do, and definitely not to encourage rage clicking and rage comments and engagement. Definitely not. She knows what she's doing.
What? Wait, why is she just here though? If she's like mentally ill, does she just like roam around the like area?
Oh yeah.
Of course, this happens. Like what?
She's farming.
30 minutes of my stream, like
she's farming, bro.
I spent time convincing someone to jump. See, now she's just floating in the water. I think she's on drugs.
It almost sounds like got some cognitive neurological stuff going on up there. That's a blank expression if I've ever seen one. You see the gears trying to turn, but they just keep they don't actually turn. They're trying, but they're jammed. She can't comprehend reality. This is wild to me, dude.
I'm gonna jump. See, now she's just floating in the water.
It's starting to turn.
I think she's on drugs.
I just had to toss this little turd nugget in here as a little bonus clip. This is after she convinces the woman to jump in the water and she leaves the dock. She tries to like play the victim here where she's like, oh, of course this happens 30 minutes into my stream. This selfish, mentally ill woman comes up to me and, well, I have to try and exploit her for content, so I convince her to jump in the water, and it turns out she's mentally ill. What's she doing here? Getting me in potential trouble 30 minutes into my stream. Oh my.
She wouldn't be able to like actually tell you what mental illness is. Like, you'd ask her, what do you define as mental illness? I don't know. Like autism, ADHD. Probably doesn't even know what Asperger's actually means. Probably wouldn't even like understand how to spell that actually. And then you're just like, wow, what a broad generalization. What a really narrow and shallow worldview. At a certain point, I stop being angry at these people and I start pitying them because there's mothballs between the ears up there, and they're just ignorant. They are just built different, built incorrectly. And people like Charlie are relevant for calling this out.
Goodness gracious. Playing the victim is her bread and butter, by the way. That's her signature anime finishing move. She always defaults to playing the victim in every situation that she causes. If I had to give her like one compliment, I'd say that she's talented at being a professional victim. She always does shit like this. So even in this situation where she even knows she is 100% in the wrong, she goes on Twitter after this all blew up and said, "The lady wanted to swim. They told me to leave and stop filming. That's why we left. And she got the help she needed and is fine. Stop dragging me. Allah." What she did is indefensible, and she knows that. I watched the stream. She mentioned it and wrestled with it in her fucking empty little noodle multiple times about how she might have killed that lady. And she just doesn't care that much about that. All she cares about is whether or not it's going to lead to a viral clip and maybe a couple of extra viewers.
Where are her parents? Like, this is child behavior. Where are her parents, right? There are parents out there, especially military parents. Oh my God, right? What is it? The bed sheets, be able to flip a coin on it or something like that, bounce a coin off of it, right? Like, there's strict parents, there's less strict. Where are her parents in this? Are they okay just being associated with this? Really? This is it. I view this as a failure of parenting as well by extension. Like, this is wrong. Like, if I had a kid and they did this, oh, there's gonna be a talk. You know how like I talk and I'll rant? There's gonna be a talk. They're gonna sit down. We're gonna talk. We're gonna have just they will understand why this is wrong by the end of it, right? No hidden agenda. There's gonna be a talk that happens with that. This is wild to me.
That's it. And then she goes on Twitter and is like, oh, actually, everything was totally fine. We couldn't help because they told us to leave. They told you to leave because you weren't helping.
Yeah.
You caused the problem and then did nothing to actively try and help in any
Fact.
way. So obviously they would want you out of there. You could have still done something to help. You could have called 911. Them telling you to leave doesn't just fucking, launch an EMP that disables all your electronics where you can't dial 911. You could have called for help if you didn't want to actually get in the water and try and help her yourself. Like,
objective fact. Imagine if you're at the range and somebody has an accident at the range, right? Range service officer comes over, we start getting medics, and you have somebody right up in our business filming it, okay? First off, I'm tossing that phone, that camera, I'm tossing that downrange. You can go get it when the range is cold, right? I'm tossing that downrange. Second, you're getting out of there. You are doing nothing for this situation when somebody needs help in a very serious situation. This is incredibly fair, objectively true.
it's so stupid. It's a terrible, terrible, terrible excuse. Like, it's not something you can ever possibly make an excuse for.
No, it's not.
But she still tries to get a couple, like, wah, wah, French cries in here, trying to drum up some sympathy for herself, even though she is just a piece of shit. Plain and simple. All she cares about is making people mad, so that way maybe people find her fucking awful streams. That's it.
Yeah.
So I bet she is smiling right now. And in fact, I know she is, because I was watching her stream as I was making this video. She's live again. She doesn't care. This is a good thing for her. I think she's seeing more viewers than she was previously, so I bet she thinks this whole thing was absolutely fucking worth it, because she's not going to face any repercussions for this.
Nope.
It doesn't seem like anything's going to come from it, like on a legal side or criminal side or anything like that. So to her, this was just a smart play. Almost killing a woman on Kick for some extra viewers. So yeah, this lady super sucks. I think she is fucking terrible. That's really about it. So yeah.
No, fact. Everything he said, I agree with. And can you imagine if I did something like this? How many people would be, one, disappointed, but two, just outright just be like, nah, I'm not following this. And I don't even think, like, there is the fair criticism, right? Where if you hold people to higher standards, you should be held to higher standards. I feel like my standards aren't that high for a lot of things. And I feel like, I don't know, there's been some weird interaction with that. In any event, though, right? I don't think it's a high bar to say that streamers should be able to do this kind of behavior and be rewarded for that, right? Like a warning, like a Twitch style, like 3-day ban, right? Parents talking to you saying, hey, cut the crap, right? I don't think that that's right. I don't think that, and I don't know. Maybe I'm the one that's wrong again. Who knows? It's wild. I want to thank Moistcritikal for making this. I want to thank him for bringing this to light, because this is something I didn't know about, and I'm very, very adamant that this is wrong, and I want to do what I can to call this out. And that's the thing. I'm small enough that the original poster, original poster of this, whoever she is, she's never going to see this, right? And even then, it's just like I'm inconsequential. So I really can just talk about this subject and say about it. And I encourage you, like, yeah, we need to be holding people to higher standards when the bar is the floor, right? Hey, maybe not encourage somebody that you hear at the beginning can't swim to jump in a lake, right? Maybe that's a pretty L move, my dude, right? My guy, come on now. But I don't know. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think that I'm necessarily on point? Do you agree that, yeah, we shouldn't hold people to unrealistic standards, but we shouldn't hold them to the floor either, right? Like, there needs to be some sort of accountability, some sort of follow through, some sort of follow up, right? Or do you think that this is just the way the internet is, and that, accountability is has gone the way of the dodo, and this is the content that will get rewarded? Let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you, Moistcritikal, for making this video and bringing this to light. See you all in the next one.